don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode, another week of Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal. Ruhl, Sam Flannel in for D-Mac. D-Mac will be back in the studio tomorrow. We got KG in the house. Matt Broder sticking around as well. Hope everybody caught Wake Up Woodward, 8 to 10 a.m. right here on the Woodward Sports Network. We're live at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. That is fact, not opinion. Need a good deal on a car? Come on through here. The people will take care of you. Plus, they're big Detroit sports fans. So, while you're waiting for paperwork to file, they'll chat sports with you as well. But Sam Flannel, what a weekend it was. Action-packed.
Oh, yes, especially for you, for your school, Oakland, making the tournament, getting a first-round draw against Kentucky. I texted the group chat that, at least for watchability from a fan's perspective, that's about as fun of a matchup as I could have asked for. So I'm looking forward to it. Take down a blue blood.
That is the case. It is funny, though, the 4 times we've been in the NCAA tournament since turning Division I in 2000, we played North Carolina, we played Texas, we played Pitt when they had Jamie Dixon, and now Kentucky. So that's the way it goes. A
couple of blue bloods and a couple of schools that had some of their best teams ever. So you guys have gotten consistent gauntlets. But you know what? As you always say, the only way out is through.
No, absolutely. Yep. And, by the way, too, speaking of that, like the pod, and we're getting into the Michigan State stuff as well. They're in the tournament also. They got their way in there, maybe a little bit overseeded. We'll discuss. You're a Michigan fan, so you'll probably agree with that sentiment. But our pod in particular in Pittsburgh, Kentucky, who we are playing, and then if you win that, you get the winner of the team that finished 4th in the Big 12. The Big 12 where Kansas finished 6th.
Yeah.
6th.
Yeah, that's insane.
Texas Tech is playing the team that won the ACC tournament, NC State. So that's the way it works, though, man, in the NCAA tournament. Lots of talk, too, about the Detroit City FC game as well. Wow, people were tapped into that. So, big win for them against Colorado Springs. I had that early morning flight out of Fort Lauderdale yesterday where they tied a record high of 90 degrees. It was incredible.
Oh, yeah. And then you come back here. It's snowing, so
absolutely.
That's Michigan.
No, that is the way that it goes. But, we're going to get into all of that. I have some words of advice from Mike Greenberg of ESPN. We'll get to that at 11:14. I'm going to do that. We're going to do the Lions stuff. Get into it, the Justin Fields trade, the people around town. That you use the term straw man a lot.
Okay.
But and when I heard it at first this morning, I thought it was a straw man thing. But Broder told me the Wake Up Woodward people in the chat, our very own people, about the Justin Fields trade. We're like, well, why didn't we get in there? It was just a 6th-round pick.
Ooh.
I'll shut that foolishness down coming up in just a little bit too. All right.
I mean, I know there was some people who wanted to draft him in 2021, but to trade for him now, that seems a little foolish to me. But always complimentary to the Woodward Sports chat and audience. You guys are usually very, very smart, but that's not your best.
Pete Smith, does anyone else think Izzo is gone after this season? Right under that, Nick Hedigan said Izzo should be out. We'll discuss that too, because if ever you're going to talk some college basketball, it's going to be today. And you were locked into the selection show.
I don't know why, but it was interesting.
There was no drama for you as a Michigan fan.
Nope, none whatsoever.
Okay.
But as a State fan, I can imagine they were sweating that one out, especially when
they were never not going to be in.
But when all of the first 4 10 seeds, none of them were Michigan State, I was a little bit like, are they really not going to get in this thing?
Flannel. And look, that's great. You're cute. You're a good guy. I like you and all that kind of stuff. Let me let you in on how the real world works, okay? Right. They were never in danger of not getting in the tournament. You know how I know why?
How?
What's the very first game on television of the tournament, the 12-15 game on Thursday?
It's Michigan, Mississippi State.
Oh, wow.
Michigan State, Mississippi State.
Wow, that's weird. Michigan, Mississippi State, the very first game of the tournament. That's not all by itself for the first 15 minutes of the tournament. The one that everyone in America watches because they're at work not doing anything, or they've called into work, or they go get a vasectomy. That's always been the play, too. The NCAA tournament vasectomy play is certainly very much a thing as well. I laugh at that because they were never not getting in, and they're a 9. So there you go.
Yeah, they're a 9. And I think there was a scenario where they weren't going to, but they won a couple games that they needed to down the stretch. So I'm not even going to – it's neither here nor there. They won. I think they saved their season with the Northwestern and Minnesota wins. But, hey, they're a 9
Is this
seed.
where we are? Quote, save their season with wins over Northwestern and Minnesota.
Hey, tournament, fellow 9 seed Northwestern. This is like the golden age of Northwestern basketball. It actually is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out Chris Collins.
Being down there in South Florida, Florida Atlantic,
Yeah.
I stay probably about 10 minutes from Florida Atlantic's campus. My buddy down there is an alum. They are not fearful of Northwestern. They are not.
Well, we'll see. I'll save all my bracket predictions for later on, but I'll probably pick Northwestern in that one.
Yeah.
Boo-booey. First team All Big Ten boo-booey. Michigan State fans know all about boo-booey.
Yeah.
Spartan Killer.
Dusty May, coach of Florida Atlantic.
Hey,
you may be familiar with him soon. We'll see.
Hey, don't mind that. At least he's built a program.
And a Midwestern guy, too. Did it down in South Florida as a Midwestern guy.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays itself out. But there is no time to talk about Michigan basketball today.
Nope.
They are not relevant to the storyline. They are not germane to the show flow. I like using that word, germane.
What means Juwan Howard got fired? This is my first show since that happened, so I'll
All right, yeah. Opine.
yes, I will. Yeah, it was exactly what they needed to do. It shows me that maybe this program is going to be taken a little more seriously moving forward, because you can't do what Juwan Howard did the last couple of years and keep your job. That just would have showed me that they're just too apathetic to do anything about it. So hopefully the next coach is somebody like a Dusty May, who's built a program before, who's been a head coach, and then we move forward and get back to where Michigan basketball should be, which is at the absolute worst, a consistent tournament team that makes Final Four runs from time to time, that maybe makes a national championship game, that makes Sweet 16s. It's just they need to be held to a standard that they were at when John Beilein was the coach.
When you say built a program, you mean take Florida Atlantic to the Final Four? Like built a program like that did something that Juwan never did his whole time here?
Absolutely. No,
Okay.
that's huge. And another name that's getting kind of bantered about is Brian Dutcher, who was a longtime assistant under Steve Fisher. And at first I was kind of like, but
I would love that.
He took San Diego State to the Final Four. He's done an excellent job.
They
with San
can't
Diego
do that
State.
for real, can they? Because if you do that, if you go get the coach, then don't you got to, go put the banners back up? Because the coach that got you those banners would be back.
Please, by all means. If I can, I would take Brian Dutcher right now.
But wait a minute. That wouldn't be the leaders and best.
Well,
that wouldn't be Michigan man material, would it?
Well, that was the most exciting team in Michigan basketball history and one of the most successful. They should be, and the funny thing is 3 of them went on to have highly successful NBA careers. One of them is a Hall of Famer, so they should absolutely be held in high esteem by Michigan. I don't represent the people who decided to take the banner down.
I'm confused. Leaders and best. The Michigan way.
Hey, I mean, we saw what happened during the football season. But all I care about is that national championship, baby. Let's go.
All right, there you go, Flannel. Hey, there you go, man. Okay, very cool. See?
Let's go.
I'm trying to help, Broder. I'm trying to help Michigan fans right now. I'm trying to help them. Flannel, your default in that situation, your default has to be don't care, got a national championship. I saw you teetering right there. Like the whole Michigan man thing. And, Broder, you are a Michigan man.
That's what they say.
You are. You played for the university.
Sure did.
Struck out George Springer.
Struck him out. World Series MVP.
Absolute. Was it 3 pitches, right?
4. It was a K on the outside. Two-seam fastball on the outside of the plate. Yep.
You set him up first?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Broder, are you comfortable with it? As a man who was one of the leaders and best, who was a Michigan man, who did things, quote, the Michigan way, are you comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not going to double clutch. Did you see him, though, double clutching when I said you got to bring the banners back? And he was like,
oh, come on. I didn't double clutch.
I think he was pretty confidently
but it wasn't default mode yet.
There is not a single person on planet Earth who capes up for Chris Webber more than me. When his Hall of Fame, when he got in later than he should have, I was always the one screaming from the mountaintops, get Chris Webber into the Hall of Fame. So I obviously hold the Fab Five in very high esteem, except for that they admitted to overlooking Christian Laettner before the Duke game. I thought that was a little, I didn't like that. But other than that, shout out to the Fab Five.
Yes. DNCENT. Hey, Neal, I was perusing the old sports book this morning. Shout out. Came across a line I don't think I can say no to. Purdue to not make the Sweet 16 is plus 250.
Ooh. They got to make the Sweet 16,
Let
right?
me. I have the bracket at the ready to go.
Okay.
Montana State, Graham. No way they lose to a 16 twice in a row. That can't happen.
No, that's impossible.
If they do, then shut the program down permanently.
Agree. 100%.
NCAA should put them on probation. I call it bad team probation.
Absolutely.
And shut it down.
Absolutely.
Utah State, TCU.
I mean, if you're Purdue, there's no excuses. I mean, there's no excuses not to make the Final Four at this point, or maybe even win a natty, but certainly the Sweet 16. Doesn't matter how tough your opponent is, you got to go do it. But the burden of proof is on them, because this version of Purdue, any version of Purdue, whether it be coached by Gene Cady or Matt Painter, it's like clockwork. They're always going to fall short in the NCAA tournament because that's just what they do.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread, and jump into there. Subscribe to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Get your thoughts in there. Dan Wood wants to know, Flannel, what's Dutcher's PFF ranking?
Hey, pro football focus. If there's a college basketball coaching focus, maybe I'll get his grade in. But all I know is that I know he was an assistant for probably longer than you think he would have been. But when he got the chance to take over San Diego State, he took them to a Final Four. They've been a consistent tournament team. So
national title game.
National title game, absolutely. And that's and losing to UConn, there's no shame in that. So, yeah, Brian Dutcher, he's proved enough to at least be a candidate in my eyes. But so is Dusty May.
Pete Smith, does anyone else have Purdue losing in the second round? I do like it, but the more I think about it, I'm just saying TCU. TCU's got the if you played in the Big 12, you're capable of beating anybody in this tournament. Period.
Yeah.
End of story.
No, that's true, but and I know we're going to get to him a little bit more later, but as much as we all dislike Zach Edey, being 7'4" and 300 pounds, there's not a lot of teams that can have a guy that can deal with him. It all depends on if you can stop their guards. Which
Flannel.
Hey, I know
they're not shooting 30 free throws in a tournament game.
Trust me,
it's the great equalizer.
I understand, but with Purdue, it's always about how does Fletcher Lawyer play, how does Braden Smith play. I think Zach Edey is probably going to get his, just because of how big he is. I know he's not going to shoot the free throws, but even in last year's tournament game, it's not like he was god-awful. It was just, well, I guess if you lose to Fairleigh Dickinson, everybody deserves to be called god-awful. But I think that they're going to at least make the Sweet 16, because you can't lose to a 16 seed as a 1 and then come back and not even make the Sweet 16. But if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be this version of Purdue, because you're right. Zach Edey is officiated. The way that they officiate Zach Edey versus everyone else in the Big Ten, everybody sees it. It's criminal.
Right.
At least when it comes to Big Ten games.
But it's about to change.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a totally different animal. Pete Smith, Neal, can we get your Purdue seeding take? I got a feeling about TCU. I'll just leave it at that.
Sure.
I got it. Nothing structurally or anything like that. I got a feeling. I wouldn't attach a get right to it or anything like that. But that's what I do. But yeah, we're chopping it up, guys. We're going to talk NCAA tournament. I do have Lorena Rios. Oakland has to win it all, or their season is a bust. At 1/15th the budget of Michigan State. 1/15th.
Lorena Rios is trolling. Come on now.
1/15th the budget. 1/15th the budget of Michigan basketball too.
Hey, if you don't beat Kentucky, failure. I'm kidding.
I mean by double digits.
No, I'm kidding. No, just getting there. I mean, Kentucky's a tough matchup. So
they lead the nation in 3-point shooting.
Yeah, that's tough.
Lead the nation in 3-point shooting.
Hey, but you know what? If you guys win, it's one of the greatest achievements in school history, or is it the greatest achievement in school history?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Okay,
no doubt. It's a free roll. 100%. It's a free roll. So, yeah, but give us 15 times the budget, and then I'll have the same expectations I would have for Michigan or Michigan State.
Fair enough. It's never a shame if you're a 14 seed that loses to a 3.
Right.
Those things do not compute.
Yeah. So we are definitely going to get into it. I have to address Mike Greenberg when we get back. We'll do a little bit of the Lions stuff. We'll do this whole Justin Fields nonsense that Broder alerted me to. I thought that our fans were I thought the Woodward watchers and viewers were smarter than this. But apparently some of them are not. Broder, that's what you say?
I've seen it. I've seen it all weekend. There was a little bit in the chat this morning. Why didn't the Lions go get Fields a 6th-round pick?
Okay, got it. Lorraine and Neal. In college sports, it's not about the cap space. No, it is. That's all it's about in college sports. Yeah. That's all it's about. But in the cannabis world, I know what it's all about.
Oh, it's all about Dispo, of course. Because visit Dispo Dispensary today because March Madness is officially here. Dispo is giving away $1,000 to the best bracket at each location. Battle Creek, Romeo, Whitmore Lake, Hazel Park, Bay City North and South, and Ann Arbor. Go get your blank brackets now, fill them out, and return them by Sunday, March 24th for a chance to at that $1,000. Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party, it's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Buying your first Feldman Chevrolet is much more than buying the car that will get you from point A to point B. It's a place for first memories, some big, some small. As she grows, you're not just buying her a Chevy, you're buying into a Feldman family. With more than 700,000 vehicles sold, from generation to generation, Feldman just keeps rolling.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking, and the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
How'd you like to win $50,000? What do you got? What? Oh, it's on Sam.
All right.
There, how about that?
Hey, how would you like to win $50,000?
Would
it's the
I?
Woodward Sports $50,000 Bracket Buster Challenge, brought to you by Glorious Cannabis, Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, and Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza. Register for your chance to win at any Lady Jane's or Soroki's location, or just scan the QR code behind me. The shot clock is ticking. Register today at WoodwardSportsBracket.com. That's WoodwardSportsBracket.com, and you could be $50,000 richer.
All right, we're back at it here. Big D Energy live from Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. Come in here, see these guys. They got the Blazers, the Equinox, the Silverados. You want to go that EV route, see my guy Tim Brown that's here as well. Not the Heisman Trophy winner, Tim Brown of Notre Dame. Tim Brown here at Feldman Chevrolet. I'll have to make sure, though. I'll have to ask Tim. Did Tim Brown win the Heisman in 1987? Are there any pictures on Tim's desk of him with the Heisman in New York City?
You stand out for the Oakland Raiders?
Yeah. I think it might not be him.
Although
it might be. I don't know. It could be. I don't know. I know that there's pictures of J.J. McCarthy with the Heisman Trophy, right?
No, but there is pictures of him holding up the national championship trophy. More important.
Is it? Okay, there you go. Well, I was told by some at this network that he was going to be in New York and be the #1 overall pick.
That's
but anyway,
right.
I digress.
National champion and a top 10 pick is just fine by me.
All right, that's fine. See, now you're getting better.
Hey.
Now you're getting better at it. All right, I did want to talk about this because I heard this over the weekend. This kind of became a bit of a national dealio. Mike Greenberg on ESPN piped up, and he said, quote, "I think they missed their window." Talking about the Detroit Lions, by the way. He thinks that it's over for the Lions and they should tank for the #1 pick and rebuild and shut it all down. So Mike Greenberg, he didn't say that word for word, but he did say this, quote, "I think they missed their window. I think their shot to win the championship was last year. I think they're getting surpassed in their own division. I think Green Bay is now better than them." So that got me to thinking. So, obviously Mike's there in New York, a Jets guy with ESPN. Maybe he doesn't know what the situation is with the Detroit Lions. Maybe he's not familiar with how things work. Maybe he's sitting there, with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, him worrying about running for vice president and those kinds of things with his own, failures as a franchise, as a Jets fan. Mike Greenberg, I would say this to you, my friend. It's obvious and it's apparent that you do not understand how a franchise is constructed. You don't know about great draft picks and having somebody that can analyze the draft and come through draft after draft after draft. You don't know about having a lot of cap space and being set up for the future with short-term deals without a ton of excess that are on the back end of said deals. It's apparent you don't understand how a franchise operates, how a franchise can go from Trey Flowers and Jamie Collins and Jelani Tavai taking up $20 million of your cap to not play. Fast forward to today, where the Detroit Lions are knocking on the door of winning a Super Bowl, of winning the NFC Championship, all of it. You guys, some real cute examples about Josh Allen, the turnover factory, and about Joe Burrow, who is now injured in Cincinnati, and they're going through a bit of injury struggles and stuff like that. And, oh, by the way, they have to get through arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Patrick Mahomes. Those things are not equal, my friend. So it's apparent to me you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to the Detroit Lions. You don't know what you're talking about when it comes to Brad Holmes. And you don't know what you're talking about with this franchise as a whole. I would argue, Mike, that there is no franchise in the NFL that is more set up for long-term success with the cap space, the draft resume, and just in general, the culture of a team than the Detroit Lions. Maybe I'm wrong, but I doubt it.
Well said, Neal. And I'm going to harken back to – I'm not going to completely take your take, Broder, word for word, but I thought what you said on Wake Up Woodward was actually very fair, and you also laid the hammer down too, which is I think what this situation calls for. Because if you're Mike Greenberg and you want to say that the NFC Championship game, the way that it ended, was disappointing, that's fine. It's rare to have a 17-point halftime lead in an NFC Championship game and lose. I give you that. And if you want to say that some other NFC North teams, like particularly the Packers, made some moves that might make them better, Jordan Love looks like a good quarterback. I know, Neal, you're pretty high on some of the moves that the Bears have made, and even the Vikings. I like some of the moves
up until now, which we're going to get into in the next segment.
We will certainly get into it. You can say, and we've all talked about it. It's not going to, at least on paper, the Lions division, the NFC North, is not set up to be the cakewalk that it was last year. All of that is fair. But I think Mike Greenberg kind of misunderstands what Super Bowl window actually means. It doesn't mean that the Detroit Lions are definitely going to win it next year. It doesn't even mean that they're necessarily even going to win their conference or their division, which I think they will win the division for the record. It's about how you're building your team, as Neal Ruhl said. One of the great things about this offseason, which Brad Holmes, I think, navigated beautifully, by the way, was the only decision that really had to be made was on Jonah Jackson. And I think Brad Holmes made the perfect decision because Jonah Jackson's getting $17 million a year with the Los Angeles Rams, and as much love as I have for Jonah, he was certainly not worth that. What that means is that every single one of Brad Holmes' draft picks, and every single one of them that have all of the 3 draft picks that he knocked out of the park are still on the team and are still under rookie contracts. And it also means that he's been replenishing as decisions have to be made. Obviously, we're going to extend guys like Panay and Amon-Ra, but they're going to be more expensive. You replenish the roster with guys like Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell. So that, to me, is indicative of a team that is set up for long-term success. Players that are drafted under rookie contracts that are excelling. And that's what the Detroit Lions have right now. So, yes, they are certainly in their Super Bowl window. And I think Mike Greenberg just has a very diluted understanding of what Super Bowl window actually means. Or he just doesn't understand what the Lions are building, or both. I'd probably say both.
And maybe it's because he just doesn't understand how an NFL franchise works in totality.
Yeah, the Jets
because of all those points that we just went through.
Yes.
And look, Mike G in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Greeny's just yanking your chain, so it's all good. And Mike, that's why you're not going to see me act the fool and have a Sam Flannel type meltdown about it, because I'm based in reality. I'm based on knowledge. Somebody just doesn't hand me a sheet of paper and say, hey, say this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I actually, put some thought into it, use some logic,
Sure.
Look at some things. I'm weird like that, Flannel. That's how I operate. So, it's one of those people, and look, we're going to see that a lot. It's funny how quick things change, right? In the offseason last year, the Lions were the sexy team, right? Like, oh, look out for the Lions. Lions are back. So they build you up to tear you down, and that's the way that it works. And look, I will take the people running the franchise I root for, the Detroit Lions, 100 times out of 100 over pretty much everybody in the NFL. Because this is the reason I'm so in, Flannel, and we've discussed this many times, is because of they are doing things the way you do it to be successful. And the Chiefs, like the Kansas City Chiefs, everybody talks about Mahomes, who's mercurial, no doubt. Mercurial, one of, could be the best quarterback to ever play the game of football. Could be.
Yep.
Could be, very much could be.
Yep.
On his way there. Let's just say it
100%.
like that. Even the Chiefs, through the Mahomes and the $450 million contracts and the Travis Kelce, the highest paid tight end, through all of that, why did they win the Super Bowl the last 2 years? Other than Mahomes, mercurial quarterback, why did they win it?
Guys like Nick Bolton, George Karlaftis, Trent McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed, Rashee Rice. I mean, Brent Veach has drafted extraordinarily well. I mean,
And Flannel, you can back that up.
Yeah.
They went and got Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
They had a quarterback. They went and traded up and got him.
And they drafted Chris Jones and Travis Kelce, just for the record. I know that now they're under long-term contracts, but those are also guys that the Chiefs drafted. They've done an extraordinary job over the last few years, and you can even give more examples than I've just given right now. Even a guy like Mike Dana, for example, who was hugely important to this team. The Chiefs built a phenomenal roster through the draft, and that's what the Lions have done. And here's the thing, too, because we talk about the NFC North, and I want to just get this point out there because we've talked about some of the free agent moves that the Vikings have made, that the Bears have made, that the Packers have made. I would argue that all of them have made some solid to very, very good moves. But I would take Brad Holmes' drafting over Brian Gutekunst for the Packers, who's made some good picks in his own right, over Ryan Poles for the Bears, and I don't even know the Minnesota Vikings GM. My point is that Brad Holmes' drafting, as opposed to when compared to all other NFC North teams, clears all of them by a mile up to this point. And that's one of the reasons why their Super Bowl window, I think they're not only in it, they're going to be in it for a long time because of their ability to keep replenishing their roster through the draft, which, as I said before, as decisions are going to have to be made on guys like, for example, I'll just say Derek Barnes. You bring in a guy like Jack Campbell through your draft a few years later. You bring in other great players like decisions might have to be made someday about Kirby Joseph. I'll just throw his name out there. Or Iffy. I'll do Iffy because he was drafted in 2021, although as of right now, I don't think a decision will have to be made. You bring in a guy like Brian Branch a couple of drafts later. That's why their window is open, because Brad Holmes' drafting has been near the top of the NFL, at least in the past few years. It's kind of been Kansas City Chiefs, Detroit Lions. Those have been the top two drafting teams. And they might be the Super Bowl matchup this year. More on that as the season goes along.
No, absolutely. So it is. It's just one of those things, and we're going to see this from time to time, and we see it. I just hate that. I hate that when somebody comes. Like, there was no informed take about it. He didn't talk about the Lions structurally. He's like, well, I think Green Bay's better. Better based on what? Like, Jordan Love? Like, is that it? I mean, does he have promise? Sure he has promise. Has he been through the battles? No, he has not. And the bottom line was, look, for all this talk about how, quote-unquote, great he is, when it came down to it, he made the mistakes that cost him the game.
That's fair. He also had in his playoff debut, he was great against the Cowboys. And that's also fair. I would say that Jordan Love has been through some battles, but you're also going to have to pay him more. And that's a huge part of the equation as well, because Jordan Love's almost the entirety of his rookie contract was wasted sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, which, as much as you say Jordan Love had a damn good year, and he did.
Yeah, but to be fair, if I'm going to use Greeny's logic, I think the window has passed the Packers by. Hey. Like, I think that the Green Bay Packers are not equipped to win a Super Bowl. They had their shot. They had the 49ers reeling in their own building, did the Green Bay Packers.
Absolutely.
And Jordan Love couldn't take advantage. So I think if you asked Mike Greenberg, he would say for the Packers, maybe it's time to move on from Jordan Love. Maybe you should assess your situation.
Well, and that's what you get, Mike Greenberg, for not really adding any evidence behind what you were saying. If you would have given a couple examples, I mean, I even said that the Packers, I think they're going to be better, but the Lions are too. So, but it was just the way that he just said shit just to say shit. I think that's another thing that made me the most eyebrow raised about it, is because there's no logic or evidence. I just think the Packers are better.
No, and it was kind of a foolish take.
Sure.
Just like it would be foolish if you're looking for home security to not go with Guardian.
Oh, you have to go with Guardian Alarm, because let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to do the best job possible and give you everything that you may need. Technology backed by people. Safety and security is their number one priority, and Guardian Alarm is going to give that to you. Everywhere I go, I see the Guardian Alarm truck driving around. I see protected by Guardian Alarm on a bunch of businesses. We should all have Guardian Alarm because they provide the best home and business security. So give them a call at 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
How about that rookie? He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
The new Glorious Ice Water Bubble Hash Pre-Roll, now with diamonds, constantly pushing to create the best cannabis experience. The perfect boost comes from the added touch of pure THC diamond dust, allowing flower with only the highest terms, making the best even better. Glorious Cannabis, check us out at your local retailer or gloriouscanna.com.
All right, keeping it pushing, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. We're live at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer, part of the Feldman Automotive Group, 18 dealerships in the Metro Detroit area. Neal, Ruhl, Sam Flannel in for DMAC. DMAC will be back in studio tomorrow. I'm still waiting to get word on our travel itinerary. I plan to be here tomorrow, Flannel, but as soon as I get that official, we'll let that know. But you will be in for me Wednesday and Thursday. Friday's up in the air now, too, because of our late game.
Hey, go beat Kentucky and have me be on BDE on Friday.
No, absolutely. Golden Grizzlies and the Kentucky Wildcats. Thursday, 7:10 p.m. CBS.
Ooh.
The eyes of the nation.
Hey, be locked into that one.
On the Oakland Golden Grizzlies. Michigan State, a 9 seed. They'll square up with Mississippi State. They are 12:15 p.m. on Thursday, the opening game of the tournament. The only game in town for that first 15 to 20-minute window. So there is that. Weird. I thought that they were close to not making it. But here they are playing the opening game.
If they would have lost to Minnesota.
No, they were a 9 seed, Flannel. They were a 9 seed. They were in. And, oh, by the way, I do have to apologize for the people, because when we talked about Michigan State before, I brought up the fact. I said, because I thought that they were going to be one of the play-in games.
Yeah.
The 10 seed against a Mountain West team.
Sure.
So they ended up being a 9 seed. And lo and behold, who's 2 of the play-in teams? One is Boise State. One is Colorado State.
Yeah.
Out of the Mountain West.
Hey, and they're both so whoever's playing in the play-in game is facing a Mountain West team.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was a half a slot off, Flannel. My apologies to the people on that. No, I did want to get into this as well because this is news, and this, Mike G, I hate Kentucky. I'll tell you what, like, it's a tough. They're 7'6", 6'8" in the front court. They lead the nation in 3-point shooting. Yeah. Their leading scorer averages 20 points per game. He shoots threes at a 44% clip.
Yeah, and they seem to be peaking at the right time as well. Because this Kentucky team, at some points during the year, there was a little bit of question, but now they look like a team that could win it all as the 3 seed. At least from my estimation, but we shall see.
No, absolutely. But no, I did want to talk about this. The Justin Fields deal. He got moved to Pittsburgh, which obviously caught everybody's attention.
Yeah.
But not as much attention as was kind of paid to the return. Yeah. A 6th-round pick. There are provisions in there that it could accelerate to a 4th-round pick depending on playing time. What is it? If he plays 51% of the snaps,
I think so.
It moves to a 4th-round pick. And I'm curious about this because people around here, and I discussed this a couple weeks ago, Flannel. And what did I say about Justin Fields with the Bears? They need to make their decision and get it moving because every second they keep him, what?
His value goes down, and you saw during the trade.
I don't understand. Like, I thought they were going to keep him because they had gone this far. Like, well, man, they're just going to keep the guy.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll trade the pick. But now they moved on. I don't understand it. And, yes, I'll raise my hand. I am one of the guys that have talked about the Bears and the cap space and the draft capital. They have the 1st and the 9th pick in the draft coming up. And they went shopping over the last 2 off seasons.
Yeah, they have.
Rebuilt the defense, got a lot of high-quality talent. If anything, though, this Justin Fields trade makes me less scared of the Bears. Look, the Caleb Williams thing, coin flip. For every great number 1 quarterback or every great first quarterback taken, I can show you one that was an absolute bust.
100%.
That's fair to say. I'm not making that up. The people, though, what really stuns me about this is, A, I'm less fearful of the Bears now because the Bears are going to bear. And that's what they did. They flat out made this whole Justin Fields situation a debacle and got a minimal return, but more on that later.
Sure.
The fans' reaction, and I heard some of the local talk stations this morning, just, I thought, way out of left field. Just absolutely crazy takes about, well, should the Lions have gotten involved? For what? So I have a question for the people. Whenever I talk Bears and said I'm fearful of them, the go-to comment everybody had was, well, Justin Fields stinks. And I was like, well, he's a dynamic runner. Not a good runner, a dynamic runner. Oh, well, he can't throw the football. He's terrible. He's awful. Now all of a sudden, and Broder said on the Wake Up Woodward show that some of the Woodward people were in there in the comment section saying, yes, the Lions should have got involved. Is he terrible or should the Lions have traded for him? Which is it?
Well, I'm going to do something that maybe I shouldn't. I'm going to try to attempt to justify Lions fans a little bit, although they're wrong. If they're looking at putting Justin Fields behind the Lions offensive line versus behind the Bears, maybe they think they can get the best out of him. But as we already know, the Lions already have a quarterback named Jared Goff who helped lead the Lions to their most successful season since the 1950s. And I'm not a Goff apologist, but I can even admit that. Jared Goff had a phenomenal year, and he's been good. He's been great the last couple of years. I thought this was over. I thought this was put to bed, me personally. As I said before, this Justin Fields stuff, I know there were some people that wanted to draft him in 2021 instead of Penei Sewell, and they didn't. And there's been a little bit of watching his career from afar from some. But as of right now, I don't understand why anybody would want to trade for Justin Fields on the Detroit Lions the way that they're set up at the moment, especially since Justin Fields' rookie contract is about to – the clock is ticking. I will just say that, and you're going to have to pay him as well. So this is completely out of left field. This was not on my Big D Energy bingo card today, talking about Justin Fields. Why didn't the Lions go after him? I thought those talks were dead at earliest a year ago.
CK says trading Fields makes the Bears less scary. I am not worried about Caleb Williams. And that's kind of where I am too, right? For a guy, and look, he's got a decent arm. It's fairly accurate. For a guy that a lot of his freelance plays that I saw in college, they were fine for college. Just with the speed of the NFL and how that game is flying around, I don't know how it will translate. I'm skeptical of Caleb Williams. I'm glad that my franchise has not put their flag in the sand and said, Caleb, I'm turning over all this cap space and all these moves we've done defensively and all this free agent money and all this draft capital. We put it on the back of Caleb Williams, who, oh, by the way, you want to talk about windows, right? If it's a 4-year window, right, typically, then he better hit the ground running, man.
No, that's fair, but if I'm a Bears fan, which I'm obviously not, but if I'm just an observer of the NFL, as somebody who's a fan of the team in which the Bears are in their division, I'm looking at, why would you want to trust this all to Justin Fields either? Because you're right. Of course he's a dynamic runner. But dynamic runners, I mean, I made this example before. What do Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson, and Randall Cunningham's trophy cases look like that are not individual awards? Absolutely empty. You almost never see – I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback who's primarily – or not even primarily, like a dynamic runner like that actually win anything of substance in the NFL when it comes to like team accomplishments. It's just Justin Fields, to me, you look at his passing numbers, his QBR was actually worse this season than in 2022, and they gave him DJ Moore. His rating is improved slightly, and his completion percentage improved slightly. It's just, this was the year for Justin Fields to show me more as a passer, and he didn't do it. Did he have a couple of great games against Washington and against the Broncos, a game that they ultimately lost? But still, he was good in those games. He was fairly good against the Lions, particularly the one at Soldier Field. I'd actually say he was more than fairly good in that game. But overall, as a passer, I think Caleb Williams' upside is much higher. I do. If Justin Fields had showed me a little bit more, I would say, hell no, you don't trade him. But I think it's also dangerous giving all of this to Justin Fields as well. I think it's a coin flip with either of them, although I would trust Caleb Williams more because I like his upside as a thrower much, much more than Justin Fields.
Hoofhearted says getting rid of Fields is addition by subtraction with the Bears. And look, I'm higher on Justin Fields. My take remains the same. I'm higher on Justin Fields than a lot of people are. He will be a backup in Pittsburgh. That would be my estimation. Russ Wilson's going to go in there, and it's going to be the ultimate. If Mike Tomlin gets that team to the playoffs,
oh, stop it.
Then put him in the Hall of Fame immediately.
Stop creating fake victim narratives for guys you like. Russell Wilson was a Hall of Fame quarterback with Seattle.
Yeah. And then he destroyed a franchise.
Well, he actually had
destroyed a franchise.
Hey,
Flannel. It's more than on the field, brother. It's more than on the field.
I understand that. His contract was turned out to be in the trade and the
contract.
It's
not even just the contract either, Flannel.
I understand that, but the only
coach I want an office at the team offices. I want a parking spot at the team facility. I know we have a no family policy at training camp, but I want my family to be able to go there. Like, would you ever? I would never do something like that if I was on a team. Never would I do that.
No, of course not. But to use this as another feather in the cap for Mike Tomlin, who's been a playoff underachiever, by the way. I know. Everybody hates me.
I know. Couldn't win the Super Bowl with Mason Rudolph. Guy's a bum. Mike Tomlin's a bum. Get him out of here. And by the way, to say nothing, and if you want to slander him, fine. You better not slander that man's beard. Because if you do, we're going to fight in the middle of Feldman Chevrolet, Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer.
I will never slander Mike Tomlin's beard. He's a very he looks like Omar Epps too. So no, and that's a compliment. Omar Epps and Mike Tomlin are very handsome men. So his beard immaculate.
Steve Wilds, are the Bears going to win a Super Bowl this year? How is trading a 32-year-old wide receiver on a 1-year rental for a 4th-round pick smart? See, Steve. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. And I like to think that I make a difference in my community. I like to think that I have a positive impact on folks. And I like to think that Steve sees the things the way I see the things out there. And I had those exact same questions. But that adds to the Caleb Williams thing. Like, look at that move in a vacuum. You're putting it on the back of Caleb Williams. He better ball out?
Sure, or if I'm going to look at it the other way, you're making things easier on Caleb Williams. But also in order for this to be successful, Caleb Williams would have to be like rookie year CJ Stroud, which I'm not counting on. I wouldn't put it past him, but it's not something that you want to necessarily count on because CJ Stroud had the best rookie season of any quarterback ever. And even if Caleb Williams falls short of that, it's not even necessarily disappointing. But Keenan Allen as a rental, that is the type of move for a team that's looking to win the Super Bowl this year. And I don't think anybody's picking the Bears to win the Super Bowl this season.
Wyatt Bear, Neal, Nino Brown Ruhl. We all we got. We all we got. CMB. We all we got. I'm finna hand out turkeys this Thanksgiving, man. If I'm in town, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna hand out turkeys. It'll be me and Blake Corum in the streets handing out the turkeys, man.
The team that nobody knew they needed.
Yeah. All right. Hey, you guys tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merchandise? I got you covered, everybody. That's right. WoodwardSports.com/shop. Baseball, football, basketball, hockey. It's all there for you. I just hit KG with the cross up and read the wrong ad, but that's all right, though, because you can go to WoodwardSports.com right now. It's still cold out. It's still hoodie season. It's still beanie season. Baseball, football, basketball, hockey. There's a Woodward Sports golf line as well. Go to WoodwardSports.com/shop.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
What's up, everybody? Neal Ruhl for Big Boy. Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. Dive into the fish and chips, the new Parmesan crusted cod, and the perfectly fried clam strip platter or delicious fish sandwich, the classic, right? Get some tartar sauce on there. You are good to go. Don't forget about the Big Boy new must-try, the mango iced tea, the perfect complement to the popcorn shrimp Alfredo, or shrimp stir fry. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy. And don't forget, every Friday night, the all-you-can-eat seafood buffet as well. Get your local Big Boy today. All right, we're keeping it pushing here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, Sam Flannel, KG on site, Matt Broder here in the house, and all of you in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread as well. Get your thoughts out there. Certainly, the brackets released yesterday. We're gonna talk some. Is it okay to talk college basketball today? We can talk it today, right?
Absolutely.
Got 2 local teams in the NCAA tournament. 1 local team not in the NCAA tournament.
Next question.
Okay. But no, I do want to get to more of the football stuff. I mean, we've been moving it already. We've talked Mike Greenberg. Yeah. We've talked the Chicago Bears and the Justin Fields trade. And I guess I never really got to the meat of the subject. Dante 151. The Notre Dame USC game, when Notre Dame defense had pressure on Williams, he folded under that pressure. Threw some passes where you go, what are you doing throwing it in that part of the field? And Dante, that's the thing. Like, you don't get a good sample size of that in college from a guy. And look, USC, I mean, talk about the big, quote-unquote, big games they played in, right? Yeah. They didn't play in a ton of them.
No.
Now, a Notre Dame defense like they had, where they have some guys that will go in the draft, maybe that's a look into it. I never say you're as bad as your worst performance, and you're never as good as your best performance. But that in between, you don't have a lot of sample size of Caleb Williams going up against a very, very good defense. And whatever, maybe I'm making a straw man argument, but we'll see. I guess I want to wrap up the Justin Fields thing. Lorena Rios, Neal, the Bears are going to select JJ. Bring him home.
Hey, number 1 overall pick is still JJ is, I guess, still alive. No, they're drafting Caleb Williams.
Oh, listen to this. Tiger Town, it's all right to not talk about the Red Wings. Second hour, we'll address it.
All right.
Car flags down, everybody. Francis Garcia, am I the only one interested in paying San Diego State that $10 million buyout and bring Dutcher home?
It's an
You
option.
guys would love that, wouldn't you?
Well, of course, because he's a Michigan
man.
But he's not just a Michigan man. He's a Michigan man who has done a phenomenal job at San Diego State. And
So the character doesn't bother you that they recruited guys that took cash, then the banners had to come down and stuff like that?
No, of course not. And for the record,
see, there you go.
Brian Dutcher isn't my first choice, but I can see the logic because
go.
he's actually done it at San Diego State and was a long-time assistant under Steve Fisher. Not a bad person to learn from if you're trying to coach Michigan. I'll just say that.
Okay. We'll get there, though. We are going to get to it. But I guess the Justin Fields thing is this, and I brought it up, but I didn't address it. And I'm curious to get the people's thoughts. And KG, can we do the Woodward Sports YouTube poll? Should the Lions have traded for Justin Fields? Should the Lions have traded a 6th-round pick for Justin Fields? I want all the data out there. Because before I go accusing people, I want to base it on data. Because I think that people that made this argument were kind of straw manning this a little bit. And maybe we're just looking for a click or looking for a view or something. There's no way in the world, because I'm only told about how bad Justin Fields is, and I believe in him more than most. There's no way, right, Flannel?
No,
right?
that's fair. And you brought up a good point at the beginning, because I didn't even consider this, but this is the most obvious of them all. I would say if you polled the average Lion fan, and I know we're all biased, and said, do you think Justin Fields is a good quarterback? The overwhelming majority would say no, even though Justin Fields did a good –
That's not what I heard in this town this morning.
Well, I mean, I guess some might be I don't know, tempted by – he played pretty well against the Lions last year, especially in the game at Soldier Field at Chicago. So maybe they're just looking for a mobile guy. I don't necessarily know, but I would tend to believe that most would say that Justin Fields is not a good quarterback or not somebody that you really feared too much. Like I said, maybe this year changed a couple of things, but still, I did not think we were going to be having this conversation today. I think it is sort of a for clicks kind of thing, because Justin Fields to the Lions. I mean, I guess if you saw that headline, you'd be like, "What the f?" and just read it and just. I mean, it would be all nonsense, but it's an interesting headline for its nonsense, if that makes sense. It's like a car crash.
Woodward Sports poll: should the Lions have traded a 6th-round pick for Justin Fields? Yes, with 15%, 14% of the vote. No, with 43%, and hell no, with 44% of the vote.
That's
so
13% still. But.
So 13% of the people say yes. So maybe there is a little more there than I would have thought.
I mean, a lot of times the minority are the ones who make their voices heard the loudest. And for the record, fine. If that's what you want, I guess more power to you, but it's not going to happen, and I don't think it's wise.
Pete Smith, the Steelers turned Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph into old head Russ and Justin Fields, and only cost a little over $3 million.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like when we get into this, and I'll prep everybody for this, when we get into the season and I start talking about the Steelers, and I start talking about Russell Wilson on $1 million flyer is very different than Russell Wilson at $250 million with a parking spot and an office desk and his family at training camp when no other families are allowed in training camp. I bet that Ish isn't playing with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Probably not, especially if you're on $1 million guy. And that's what I said from the beginning. Say what you want about Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson on this contract I think was a smart move by the Steelers because he's better than Kenny Pickett and he's better than Mason Rudolph. And now you have Justin Fields as a backup, so that quarterback room is actually looking kind of okay.
Bada bing, bada boom. Going from Fields to Williams is like going from a cold cheese sandwich to a Reuben, like it or not. Reubens are pretty good.
Yeah.
Reuben's one of those things I don't get often, but when I get one and I have it, I'm like, man, I should get these more. And then I don't get it again until that next time I get it after a long time.
It's because corned beef is so rich. It's better in small doses. Like I know yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, and we had a corned beef at the Flannel household, and it was good for like the first couple of pieces, and then towards the end, I'm kind of like, I don't want corned beef again for at least 3 months.
I'm a big Thousand Island dressing guy. Once you get Thousand Island dressing into the equation, everything changes.
Hey, shout out Big Macs, right?
Absolutely. Kevin Bell, 34 quarterbacks have won the Heisman. Out of those, only one have won a Super Bowl.
Ooh, is that
Roger Staubach?
That's actually an interesting fact.
It is.
I'd be curious to see how many were objectively successful in the NFL.
Pop Proud says, we would all like a mobile guy, but he doesn't even play if all goes right. And Pop Proud, like, you're echoing the sentiments. And that was my problem with the Hendon Hooker pick. Like, under an ideal scenario, which I think when your quarterback is second in the NFL in passing yards and fourth in touchdowns, I would say that's pretty much an ideal scenario at quarterback for any team, right?
It's playing out so where you're probably not going to see Hendon Hooker as the starter of the Detroit Lions. I was fine with the pick at the time, but Jared Goff, he stepped up his game even more this year, and he did, I think, what a lot of us needed to see him do, which was have success in the playoffs, which he most certainly did. I hate to bring this up again, but if Josh Reynolds catches that first pass, I have no doubt the Lions are in the Super Bowl. So the loss in the NFC Championship game was not Jared Goff's fault, and Jared Goff played a big role in them winning the previous 2 playoff games. He had a hell of a postseason.
Wait a minute. I never thought about this. Francis Garcia. KG, back me up on this. Thousand Island on onion rings. Bruh.
On onion rings? I haven't tried it. But it don't sound bad.
But how is it not good?
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of thinking of how it is good, think of how it could not be good. Like, there's no way.
No, I think it works.
Ain't no way.
I think we got one. Who said that in the chat?
Francis Garcia.
Shout out Francis, man. I'm going to get at it a try. I'm going to get back to you. I'm going to do some research and get back to you.
There's no way that's not good. Wyatt Bear, Ruben Sliders on Hawaiian King. I like when we have this little 2-minute veer off.
Yeah.
And everyone starts dropping the good stuff in there. I do enjoy that. Tell them about Swiss Insurance.
Swiss Insurance, of course, because if you want insurance, there is nothing quite like Swiss. Let me I got good news and I have bad news. The bad news is insurance rates are going up across the board in Michigan. The good news is Swiss Insurance is here to help. Right now, more than ever, it's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss will make sure your carrier does not slip in extra fees or raise deductibles. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today or visit SwissINS.com. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for 2 things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Big Boy Seafood Fest is sailing in with a fresh catch of favorites. Dive into fish and chips, our new palm-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam shrimp platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. Try our new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to our popcorn shrimp, our all-new fried pickles, shrimp alfredo, or shrimp stir fry. Experience all the sea has to offer every Friday night with our all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Every day is a fish fry, only at Big Boy.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Neal Ruhl here for Jack Labrador, the card game that is taking the nation by storm. That is right. Go to jacklabrador.gg. Figure out how to play on your phone right now, everybody. Scan the QR code on the screen. Also, once you go Jack, you never go back with 2 new symbols and a franchise-changing 3-point play. Jack Labrador is it, everybody. We destroy the afternoon show, the final word in Jack Labrador. You can destroy your family members as well. Get the jump. Go to jacklabrador.gg on your phone. Figure out how to play right now. It's Jack Labrador. All right, hour number 2 show is flying. flying by. A lot going on here on a Monday. Neal Ruhl, Sam Flannel in for DMAC. DMAC will be back tomorrow. We have KG out here holding it down. Matt Broder from the Wake Up Woodward Show, 8 to 10 a.m. Shout out to them. Check it out if you have not yet. Just wrapping up that NFL discussion. We're getting into college basketball here. We'll address the Red Wings coming up in a little bit. The brackets are out. We got a couple of questions for you. Bada bing, bada boom. Now we're getting into deep water. Bada bing, bada boom. Actually, I used to take liquid nacho cheese and mix it with horseradish for my onion rings. Made my pants tight.
Oh my goodness.
I bet it did make your pants tight.
Probably made some other stuff tight too.
Yes. Absolutely. That's aggressive.
Yeah, you lost me at horseradish.
But I bet though it's probably one of those things where you wouldn't eat it, but if it were like an additive to set it off Jada Pinkett, no?
Maybe. I don't know. I've just never been a horseradish guy, but
okay.
Yeah, nacho cheese, definitely on board with that.
Oh, well, come on.
That's an American staple.
What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? But yeah, so just wrapping up the discussion, the Bears talk and stuff like that. Ryan's reaction, Caleb Williams is Matt Leinart 2.0.
Oh. I wouldn't go that far.
No, because for what you think Matt Leinart's career was, trust me, it was worse than you think. Look at those numbers. They are ugly.
Yeah.
Ryan's reaction, Keenan Allen's a professional, but he'll make Caleb look better than he is.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody disagrees with that. I think the question is Keenan Allen presumably is a one-year rental that you traded draft capital for, and the Chicago Bears, as much as some people think they're going to be improved, and I could see a pathway to them maybe scaring the Lions a little bit or maybe making a wild card run, they're not what I would consider in their Super Bowl window because Ryan Poles has kind of been an average drafter, at least to this point.
Here's a good one. Top 5 list. As you know, on Wednesdays, we do top 5 Wednesdays. We do a top 5 list because it's half as boring as a top 10 list. Danny G says, have we done top 5 ice cream flavors?
I don't think so.
We have not.
That's a good one.
I'm putting it in the fold right now, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
And look, whenever you hit us with a good one, I'm going to stop what I'm doing, and I'm going to put it on the list. So top 5 ice cream flavors is on the master list here. Yeah. We have top 5 pro wrestlers, top 5 road signs.
That'll be good. That's good.
Who doesn't love a good pedestrians crossing sign?
Yeah.
Yes, bump. Who doesn't like a good bump sign? Top 5 stripper names is still out there as well.
Yeah.
Top 5 kinds of pens.
Ballpoint?
Ballpoint
guy.
Feather
jail
pen, if you're going to write the Constitution.
Yeah.
Would you say jail pen?
I'm a gel, like G-E-L.
Oh, gel.
Gel.
Okay, I gotcha. What about the one that's tied to the string at the bank?
Oh, that's right.
That's a good one, too.
That's tied to the string.
What about the one you have to sell Jordan Belfort?
One I like, too, the multicolor where you click blue or red or green.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a handy one to have.
Yep.
Top 5 Beatles. I don't even know that there are top 5
I thought it was
Beatles.
4.
Oh, there's the 5th Beatle out there.
Yeah, you have to rank the Beatles.
It's like the 4th Destiny's Child member. Nobody talks about. Oh, the 4th. Yeah, the 4th. Nobody talks about her.
Have we done top 5 body parts?
We have it, and I don't know if we should.
Yeah.
I think I know what a lot of number ones will be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's what it is.
Do we know which one's coming up this week? Are we teasing it at all?
We do not. That top 5 road signs makes me chuckle though.
Yeah.
That's like a perfect Big D Energy top 5 list.
It is. I mean, we can make it happen. It's up to you.
Top 5 compass directions. I'm a big Southwest guy.
I'm Northwest all day.
Southeast.
Right.
How do you not?
Do you count the degrees in as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Paul Thomas, top 5 Cat sports takes. I don't think there's been 5 yet. When he gets to 5, then we'll make a top 5 list.
Yeah.
So that one's out there as well. But yeah, so that's the type of thing we do. But yeah, just kind of putting the whole NFL thing, and that's really what we spent the first. Ryan's reaction, Spencer's top 5 tax laws.
Oh.
Lorena Rios, what about top 5 Matt Broder pitches?
Oh.
Hey.
Did you have 5 pitches in your repertoire?
No, it was a 4. It was a 4. Got the fastball, the 4-seam, the 2-seam, the changeup, and the slider/curveball, depending on the day.
The slurve, but some days it was a slurve.
Yeah, most days it wasn't very good.
Yeah. Hey, it was good enough when George Springer was up to bat.
Hey.
So that's what that is.
Sit them down.
No, we will not do top 5 mathematical equations.
Oh, no.
We will not.
So
Michael Daniel, top 5 left-handed first basemen.
Hey.
He is the most on-brand dude at Woodward Sports, man. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Never change, brother. Brendan Dillinger, top 5 Mason Plumlee moments.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Duke and the Plumlees.
Yeah.
Hey, Mason's the best one.
He is the best one.
Just throwing that out there.
Does he have 5 moments?
I'm sure he does.
Probably 5.
There was that hook shot he made when he was with the Pistons from the right block over the left shoulder.
Yeah.
That was a great move. That was a very good move.
And we're done.
Yeah. Pete Smith, I believe Broder threw the best ball 5 different ways, but not pitches. So, yeah, absolutely. No ephus pitch. People want to know why.
It takes some skill to throw the ephus. It takes some skill to throw the ephus.
Yeah.
The knuckleball, it's hard.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah, hey.
Pause. Top fly flannel rants.
Ooh.
Well, I don't think we could. It's not fair to pare that down to just 5.
That's fair.
That's an exciting top 10 list. That's one of the few.
XO, top 5 Sekou Demboya moments.
They had less moments than Mason Plumlee.
Yes, absolutely. Thomas Perry, Neal, shout out Michigan State this Saturday for the Big Ten Hockey Championship. Sam versus Spenny should be a great game.
Hey, go blue. Make up for.
Break it down. Hey, your view of the Michigan hockey season to this point, Flannel.
I haven't been paying attention, if I'm being honest. College hockey really isn't my thing, but I might tune into this one. We'll see.
DNC ENT, didn't Mason Plumlee have a triple-double here?
Hey, there's a moment.
What do you think would be a better top 5 list? Top 5 Mason Plumlee moments or top 5 Michigan hockey moments?
Probably Michigan hockey.
Yeah. They've had a lot more moments, right?
Yeah, they just they have trouble winning the big one.
Yeah.
That's their.
They get to the Frozen Four.
Yeah, they do.
Though.
Yeah, they do. But they don't win it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what about Mason Plumlee's triple-double?
Hey. He's an all right NBA player.
Wheezy D, I miss Sekou. He's only 22. Bring him home.
Is he really?
No way.
No.
I mean, he was young when we drafted him.
He was young when they
drafted him. He was
drafted
like 19, I think, when we drafted him.
CK says Michigan hockey has been disappointing this year. Is it time for them to move on from their coach, too?
No. Probably.
You sure?
I'm sure. Sekou Doumbouya is 23.
Wow.
Yeah.
Greg Rounds, top 5 seasons from El Mago. The list should be empty.
Yeah.
I was told he's back.
It's weird, though, because he did have a season in which he was second in the National League MVP race in 2018. It seems like bizarro world, but it's true. Javi Baez is one of those guys who he's a Moneyball type of executive's nightmare because he doesn't walk. But if you go watch whatever team he's on, particularly during his time with the Cubs and even that short stint with the Mets, if you watch one game, he might look like the best player ever if you just watch him for one game. A game where he gets where he goes like 3 for 4, makes a couple dazzling plays at shortstop. But if you look at, the totality of his seasons, usually he's not an on-base percentage merchant.
When's the last time he went 3 for 4?
It's been a minute.
When's the last time he went 1 for 4?
That's true.
Been a minute.
All right. Obviously, we lost control of this segment, so let's just do this. Let's just recalibrate. Let's just reset, come back, and talk NCAA tournament. Is that fair?
Got you.
Okay, let's do it that way. Hey, we're going to talk about brackets coming up. If there were a tournament for chicken sandwiches, I've got the sleeper, the Shake Shack, the Chicken Shack sandwich. We had it last week, so we know from experience. Guys, I'm telling you, this one hits different. And I'll be truthful with you guys. I wasn't expecting it to be up there with the greats. It is. It's a potential 1 seed, everybody. Flat out delicious. Try the Chicken Shack sandwich for free with a $10 purchase. Grab a shake and a crispy crinkle fry, and your Chicken Shack sandwich will be free. Just use the promo code Woodward. That's it, everybody. See it right there on the screen. Use the promo code Woodward. Spend $10, and you'll get a free Chicken Shack sandwich. Look at that thing, guys. It slaps. I'll just say it like that. In person, online, or download the Shake Shack app today. It's Shake Shack.
Big Boy Seafood Fest is sailing in with a fresh catch of favorites. Dive into fish and chips, our new palm-crusted cod, perfectly fried clam shrimp platter, or a delicious fish sandwich. Try our new mango iced tea, the ultimate complement to our popcorn shrimp, our all-new fried pickles, shrimp alfredo, or shrimp stir-fry. Experience all the sea has to offer every Friday night with our all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Every day is a fish fry, only at Big Boy.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
Neal Ruhl here for Feldman Automotive, and we just so happen to be here live at Feldman Chevrolet in Michigan. #1 Chevy dealer in the state of Michigan. That is fact, not opinion, y'all. But there's 18 Feldman Automotive locations, so you know there's one in your backyard. And, folks, they've been doing it since 1996. Feldman Automotive, they've been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience, and it's called the Feldman Advantage. Again, go to feldmanauto.com, find the location nearest you. All different brands, so hit up the website. Whatever kind of car you're looking for, they got you covered. And we're out here every other Monday, broadcasting live from Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. All right, keeping it pushing here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, Sam Flannel, KG, MB, Matt Broder in the house. And the brackets revealed yesterday. It's time for March Madness. Real quick, Danny G. I consider myself a fried chicken sandwich connoisseur, and I can confidently say the chicken shack chicken sandwich is top 5. So hey, there you go. There you go. So we did it, everybody. We got through it. But yeah, the bracket revealed, and Flannel, just right out of the rip, anything kind of surprise you at all? I think Michigan State being a 9 was a little bit surprising.
Yeah, I thought Michigan State being a 9, and I think a couple of things that I don't know if they should surprise you, but it kind of spoke to how they finished the season. Duke and Kansas both at 4s. That's something you probably wouldn't have foreseen, at least coming into the year for both teams, with Duke having a lot of their players return and Kansas having some players return, plus getting Hunter Dickinson in the transfer portal. Those are a couple of things that I would say stand out to me. Obviously, Oakland drawing Kentucky, which is a really, really tough matchup, but it would make it that much more sweet if you guys are able to win, because if you lose, there's no shame in that. If you win, it's the greatest accomplishment in school history. I like the sort of cost benefit of that matchup. And also, the more things change, the more things stay the same. UConn, being a #1 seed, we all foresaw that, obviously, but yeah. I think at this point, if you don't pick them to win the national championship, you're making a losing bet, because that's just what UConn does. They get into tournaments, they go to Final Fours, and when they do it, they win national championships. And also, I think if you're one of those guys that, and I know this is just a 30,000-foot look, if you are one of those that's picking Houston, who would you rather trust? UConn, of the basketball institution, or Kelvin Sampson in the tournament? I'm not saying Houston's not a talented team, but I think UConn has to be the prohibitive favorite, at least this year. And, oh, by the way, one of the other #1 seeds is Purdue, another team that if you pick them to win the national championship, I think you're a little bit crazy.
Wait a minute. That's not what I was told.
Hey, I could not imagine them losing to a 16 seed again. That would be
not those 16 seeds.
No.
Like that's the difference with this one. The St. Peter's thing, they were legitimate, obviously, because they went to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
So obviously they were legitimate. But this one, they got a little bit better draw, I guess you could say. Okie Razor, that was brutal, Neal. Hey, you talk for a living. I'm trying to think of how many words I said last week in front of a microphone.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, I have a 99.999% success rate.
No.
So you talk for a living, it's going to happen, brother.
If it makes you feel any better, last week on Wake Up Woodward, I mixed up my Carlton Davis and my Amik Robertson stats. And that was one of those moments.
That's
where
brutal for you to do.
I know, it was brutal, but I atoned for it.
What a dork.
Eduardo O'Neal, actually, he was the one who let me know, and I was like, oh, man, I felt so bad about it. But you know what? We all make mistakes, and we all live and learn. So.
What about this from Pete Smith? Does MSU extend Izzo's career by one game, Neal? Izzo's not going anywhere, right? Right?
No, I don't think so. But I'll tell you what, this MSU team, they made the tournament. Good on them. They won a couple games at the end of the year that they needed to have, in my opinion, for them to get in. But this has been one of the most disappointing regular seasons in the Tom Izzo era. I mean, you remember how hyped that Michigan State fans were before the year. And I understand I'm a Michigan fan and our basketball team sucks, but Michigan State had Hogard coming back, Tyson Walker, Jaden Akins, Malik Hall, plus the number 5 recruiting class in the nation and the number 1 recruiting class in the Big Ten. And they were a 500 conference team. The nature of college basketball means you can make all of that go away with a deep tournament run, but this was certainly not one of Tom Izzo's finest moments this year, although he's obviously the best Big Ten coach in my lifetime, and it's hard to fire a guy like that.
Absolutely. Bada bing, bada boom, top 5 Shacks. Love Shack, Shake Shack, Shack Shack, Crab Shack, Vanilla Shake with a typo. Vanilla Shack. So there's that out there as well. KMG, Purdue will be out early as usual. Brandon Katz actually had a good take here. In the tournament to win, you need good guard play. Purdue's play is always centered around the front court, which is true.
Yeah. I mean, could I see guys like Braden Smith or Fletcher? I mean, I get it. If you're counting on Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer, good luck. Could I see them stepping up their game a little bit? Sure. They both been solid, but yeah. Zach Edey, in a lot of ways, is a product of friendly officiating, and that's putting it nicely, and being just bigger than everybody else.
Catspot says Purdue has never had the guards to make a deep run in the tournament. They did have the number 5 overall pick at guard last year, or 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
So they did, I'm just saying. WoodwardSports.com chat thread, Brandon also said the game has passed Izzo by. He can't coach and develop freshmen. And look, that has become the narrative.
Yeah.
That has become the narrative because we hear about the 5 stars, and that was Spenny's thing. Remember at the beginning of the season, I'm like, Spenny, check in. Where you at this year? Preseason number 4, Final 4 or bust.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, give me the why. What's the path? Give me the why. It's like 5 stars, they're back.
Sure.
I didn't see 5-star performances, man.
No, and I'm not even hating on the guy, but it was almost considered a fact that Xavier Booker was going to come in and be like the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, be one of the top picks in this upcoming draft, and it just never happened. He didn't get the run. Obviously, what happened to Jeremy Fears was unfortunate, not his fault. Lucky for him, and I think we're all thankful that it wasn't worse. And then Cohen Carr, he was Dr. Duncanstein, that's about it, but really not a complete player. It's just, they didn't – I bet every single Michigan State fan, if you were to give them truth serum, would say that they didn't get as much as they bargained for out of their 5 stars. And I understand that they had a lot of players returning, a lot of experienced players, but overall this regular season was a massive disappointment for them. But like I said before, the nature of college basketball is you can have that type of a season and still make the tournament and still ultimately make it a successful season, but they got to make a deep tournament run or else it's probably, it would be definitely one of the worst in the Izzo era, no doubt about it. Certainly the most falling short of expectations, obviously barring a deep tournament run.
Anything else stand out to you in the bracket?
Not a whole lot. It's I'm looking forward to watching UConn, as I said. It's nice seeing, and maybe I'm weird like this, I enjoy it when the
Really? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. I enjoy it when the Blue Bloods are good. Actually, something did stand out, but not about the bracket, but about the season as a whole. Shout out to North Carolina and Hubert Davis for turning it around and having a bounce-back year, getting the #1 seed after the previous year not even making the tournament. So I always like – and don't get me wrong, I don't usually root for Duke, but I like watching the Dukes and the Carolinas and the Kansases and, like, the UConns in the tournament. Maybe I'm just weird. Some of them lived up to expectations this year. Some of them fell short, and some of them exceeded. I'm just kind of curious to see how Duke, Kansas maybe right their season, but we shall see. It's gonna be an interesting one.
Here's kind of my takeaway from the bracket when I look at and look, I'm not breaking any new ground because this is always the hot take, but the whole 5-12 thing.
Yeah.
The fives are up against it this year. Wisconsin's playing James Madison. And I said that the minute James Madison turned Division I don't think people understood the type of money that athletic program possesses. Like, their facilities are as good as anybody's facilities in the country. Hard stop.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. But, yeah, Michigan State's obviously familiar with James Madison and their game. And speaking of which, I'm glad you mentioned that because Wisconsin as a 5 seed was a little wild to me, especially given how they ended the year. And you know me, I despise Wisconsin basketball. Although A.J. Storr is a pretty fun player to watch, but I hate Wisconsin basketball so much that I actually rooted for Purdue in the Big Ten semifinals. I did.
There were no winners in that game.
100% agree.
On another 5-12, Grand Canyon's playing St. Mary's. You don't want what Grand Canyon has to offer.
No,
they're 29-4. They're legit.
Is Grand Canyon the next Gonzaga?
They could be.
They've been in the tournament, 3 of the last 4 years? Yeah.
They have money as well. There's a common theme with all these 12s, too. They make it rain financially in their athletic department. San Diego State, UAB.
Probably go San Diego State in that one.
I mean, but they're gonna have battle scars. And really, my first one, and I've heard some people talk about this one in the chat, and yes, you guys, I'm 100% with you. The number 5 seed Gonzaga going up against the number 12 seed, an upset-minded McNeese State, head coached by none other than Will Wade, former coach at LSU. Had them in Elite Eights and Sweet 16s, got in some trouble with the FBI a little bit, but he's resurfaced at McNeese State, and all he did was go 30-3 there, including a win at
the Chrysler Center. I'm intimately familiar with what McNeese State can bring, and that's another one because Gonzaga. This is probably one of the worst Gonzaga teams under Mark Few in a while. I would say I would say that McNeese over Gonzaga and James Madison over Wisconsin are as close to locks as you can have as a 12 seed. It always happens every single year, but you might see 3 12 seeds win this year in the first round.
I mean, it could. Yeah. It could be. And I think, too, like, and the groundwork's, and we're going to talk about this when we come back on the other side, the groundwork's been laid for that already based on what we saw out of last year's tournament. Which by the numbers, by the viewership numbers, the fans didn't like, which we'll get a little deeper in the woods on that. But I do think, just name-wise, you're going to see some stunners this year. Like, not talent on the floor, but just name-wise. And that's how we do things here as sports fans. We don't care about the players on the floor. We just care about the name value.
Yeah. I mean,
it's true.
Kawhi Leonard went to San Diego State. He wasn't on that team last year, but just an example.
Who also, if you're talking San Diego State, the all-time assist leader for San Diego State basketball, none other than Tony Gwynn.
Oh, wow.
The greatest hitter, one of the greatest right-handed hitters ever.
100%.
Ever.
Wow.
That's how good of an athlete he was.
Yeah. No, he certainly was one of the best hitters ever. No doubt about it.
So there's that. There's that out there as well. But, yeah, if I was going to stand on business and you said give me 12 over the 5, I got McNeese over Gonzaga.
I'm probably going to pick that as well.
So that would be the one that I'm rolling with. But, yeah, if you guys saw anything that kind of caught your fancy, go ahead and drop it down there in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. We will get to those. But I do want to talk about the NCAA tournament as a whole, the juice. And we're compromised here in this area.
Yeah.
We'll discuss.
Yeah, we're definitely compromised. No doubt about it.
Yeah. So, but we are. We're gonna discuss it coming up in just a couple of minutes. But yeah, just get your thoughts out there, and I'm excited for it. I am always excited for it. I love the NCAA tournament. I love the fact that basketball is on when soap opera should be on. That's how big of a deal it is.
Yeah, I like the NCAA tournament. I've always said, to me, it's a terrible way to decide a champion. Single elimination, no home court advantage at all. It's just too random for me sometimes. But it's entertaining. You have one bad day and you're gone. I mean, ask Purdue. Ask Virginia many years ago. Or not many years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, this is what you're doing in football now. So
That's fair. But football, there's more. I don't know. It's a longer game. There's more players. There's more players on the field. 11 versus 5. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's always been like that in football and in the NCAA tournament. Just single elimination. So much can happen in one game. That's always what it is. What's the old cliche? They might beat us 8 out of 10 times or 9 out of 10 times, but not tonight.
Yes.
And you advance.
Let's talk about Joe Dumars. Yes, McNeese is where Joe Dumars went to school, where he had an Isaiah Thomas poster on his wall, by the way, as a matter of fact. Okie, you're nobody in coaching until you've been under investigation, and that seems to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, John Beeline, I don't think he was under investigation, but he never won a title either. So, yeah, Bill Self, he's certainly the poster child for that.
Oh, Bill Self, man.
Yeah.
Like, Will Wade went down and lost his job.
Yeah.
But old Bill Self, man, just keeps it pushing. He won the Natty at the right time.
That's what you get for winning it. Because Will Wade, he was obviously a good coach at LSU. Bill Self, at least by his accomplishments, is one of the best ever. And he's won a couple Natties at Kansas.
Mason Leach. One team nobody's talking about is Long Beach State. Did you catch that act, by the way?
Yeah.
Do you know the story on that? With their coach?
They fired their coach, and then they won the conference tournament. Yeah.
They said, "Hey, stick around. You can coach the team through the conference tournament," and then they won.
They did. Shout out to another team that beat Michigan this year at Chrysler.
Man, I'm noticing a theme here.
Yeah. That's 5-10 home record this year. If you want to add that onto the shit sandwich that was the Michigan basketball season.
All right. When we come back, I do want to talk about the tournament. I'll give you my quick thoughts. This morning I started my prep for the Kentucky-Oakland broadcast, so just a couple of little nuggets out there that I noticed off the rip about Kentucky. So, hey, we get a chance to do it. It's the NCAA tournament, man. It's the national game on CBS on Thursday. Whether you like that or not, that's what it is. It's Oakland and Kentucky.
Yeah, and Neal Ruhl on the big stage.
Yeah, absolutely.
As you should be.
I don't know if they'll be doing on the app, if you're able to toggle between the different radio calls and stuff like that.
I'm going to try.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'll try for sure.
We'll see what goes on. Maybe I'll take you behind the scenes, too, the media crunch and everything that goes on. It is pretty incredible. But, before we do any of that, tell them about Premier Pet Supply.
Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best like I give my pet the best. They have all different kinds of locations all throughout Metro Detroit. Family owned. You can get all of the best food, the best toys, the best treats. And I certainly use Premier Pet Supply, and that is the best endorsement that I can give for my golden retriever, Jake, and my orange cat, Milo. Give your pet the best. Visit their website or just stop into any of their Metro Detroit locations. If you live in Metro Detroit, there's going to be one nearest you. That is Premier Pet Supply.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard.
Corner, jumper.
Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal, Ruhl, Sam Flannel in for D-Mac. KG is in the house mixing and scratching on the ones and twos. Matt Broder holding it down as well. Live at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. They got the Blazers, the Silverados in here looking to make a deal for you as well. You're looking for that EV. Go see the man, the myth, the legend that is Tim Brown. He's the EV expert, and he won a Heisman Trophy. No, I'm kidding. No, he is the EV expert. He did not win the Heisman Trophy though, for Notre Dame, and a long time great with the Raiders.
Yeah, part of my childhood. Tim Brown, the Raiders.
No, he was in there. But yeah, we're talking NCAA tournament. The Golden Grizzlies and the Kentucky Wildcats. They will be the 7-10. Thursday night game on CBS. So Michigan State playing on CBS Thursday afternoon at 12:15. They're the first game of the tournament. And then later on the nightcap, the Golden Grizzlies and Kentucky. And this morning I got an opportunity to really start to dig into the whole Kentucky thing and just take a look at it. And, you know, it's funny because we've been talking about coaches, right? And Juwan Howard got let go. And what do you hear coming out of Kentucky as of like, well, it's been a minute since they've won a national title, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what you hear.
Yeah.
And I got into some of the numbers, like with Calipari and what he's done, and it is absurd what he's done.
Of course.
Just the general impact, I guess, when I look at Kentucky's roster and really what I think about it, it's one of the tougher matchups that Oakland could have gotten. Oakland plays a 2-3 zone pretty much exclusively. Kentucky leads the nation in three-point shooting, over 41% as a team. They're led by Antonio Reeves, who's a senior, but he's a 6'6 guard that shoots 44+% from three on his own, averaging 20 points per game. As we said, their front court goes 7 foot, 6'8", 6'8". Justin Edwards, a freshman. Aduthiero is a sophomore, and Onyenso, their center, is 7 foot. He's 250 pounds, averages 3 blocks per game. They don't defend particularly well.
No, they don't.
Now the reason the defensive analytics, and I used to know this from before because Oakland used to be one of the best offensive teams in the nation. They play at a very high pace. They're pushing 80 possessions per game, so they want to go. Earlier this year, just to give you an idea, they beat Georgia 105-96. They beat Vanderbilt 109-77. They beat Alabama, was it 115-98 or something like that? Like, they cook.
Yeah.
They absolutely cook. So it's just based on the zone. And look, the 2-3 zone, Flannel, you know what it is?
Yeah.
You clog gaps. You hope they miss from three, but they don't miss from three.
No, Kentucky doesn't miss from three, and they're certainly one of the most talented teams in the nation. They've got a good mix of like a veteran like an Antonio Reeves, but they still always have their star freshmen who are going to go high in the NBA draft as well. So I believe personally, and I know John Calipari has had some tournament disappointments. Having only one natty with all that NBA talent is a little head scratching, but I think they're one of those teams that I might pick for the Final Four. I might even say could win the national championship given the talent. But it's funny. I say that, but I'm also thinking, man, it would be nice if Oakland can get a win over them, so it can help my friend Neal Ruhl out. But at the same time, Kentucky. Would it shock anybody if they made a deep tournament run? No, of course not. Even if they won the national championship. I'm not saying they're the favorite. I'd still go UConn, but they're a very talented team.
No, they are, and I gave you kind of the players there. And, oh, by the way, too, Reed Shepherd was a freshman.
Yeah.
Was freshman of the year in the SEC. John Calipari has had 10 SEC Freshman of the Years during his time at Kentucky, where he's been there for 15 years. 10 times he's had the Freshman of the Year. And we know, like, the one-and-done deal and stuff like that, but you still got to get him.
You still got to get him. I'm trying to think if I could name them off the top of my head. It would be Anthony Davis, Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, those are the
Devin
big
Booker,
ones.
maybe?
Well, Devin Booker and Cat were on the same team. So, who would have got it that year? What's up? Maybe Fox. Was Fox a one and done? Yeah, he would have been a one and done, right?
So probably. He probably was.
Shea Gilgeous.
I know.
Right?
You see what I'm saying,
Yes.
you know? But that's the moral of the story.
Like John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah. But it is. It's an incredible scene. Calipari, in the SEC tournament where they ended up losing to Texas A&M, he's 24-8 in the SEC tournament during his time there. But here's the one that really blew me away. John Calipari's won 6 SEC tournament titles. Only Alabama, who's won 8, has won more in their program's history. Like, all the other teams in the SEC have not won as many SEC tournament titles as John Calipari has.
No,
Think about that.
That's insane. I guess the only question is the one national championship a little bit of a head-scratcher? Because they've had so many talented, loaded teams. A lot of them are young, but only one natty during that time. I mean, Kansas has more, Carolina has more, Duke has more, UConn has more. So for all the first-round draft picks, I mean, you could list them all, and it would be the NBA All-Star team this year. But it's one natty. I think he's got to get another one. Not to be like a Hall of Fame coach or anything like that, but to be considered even on like Bill Self or Roy Williams' level. That's just my opinion. For all the great things he's done on the national stage, a little bit disappointing.
FJ 1967, let Jack Golke cook. 100%, man. Like that, it's going to take that, right? It's going to be like a 7-3 day from Jack Golke or him and Blake Lampman combined to make like 13 of them. So that's the magic you got to capture to do it. It is. That's just the way that it works. But the reason I bring up the Calipari stuff is, Juwan Howard just got let go.
Yeah.
Rumblings in Lexington about Calipari. When's he going to win another natty? Like, I gave you the numbers.
Yeah.
Who are you going to – if you're Kentucky for real, who are you going to get that's better?
Probably no one. But like I said –
But it doesn't matter. You just want someone different.
Like I said, though, all that talent, one national championship's not good enough. As I said, Kansas has more during that time period. North Carolina has more. Duke has more. UConn has more. Kentucky fancies themselves as the best college basketball program ever. And – hell, I can't really blame them for that. They're one of the true blue bloods when it comes to history. So I don't necessarily blame Kentucky fans for – I'm not saying they should call for him being fired, but for having some questions of like, are you going to do it this year? I mean, even this season, as much as I say that they're one of the more talented teams, they're one of the teams that I think could win it. They're a 3 seed. Technically, that doesn't matter, but that tells me that their regular season, albeit very good, was still probably a little more disappointing than they would have liked. At Kentucky, they're supposed to be number 1 seed every year. At least those are their expectations. It's obviously not going to happen, but it's Kentucky. It's different there than even like a Memphis or a UMass where he came from before.
But where's the line? That's what I'm asking the sports fans. Like, where's the line? And the Harbaugh stuff, I think, was very similar to this Calipari discussion that we're having right now. Like, who would Michigan theoretically get that would have been better than Harbaugh?
Well, it's funny because Jim Harbaugh obviously turned his entire legacy around and became the best coach in school in Michigan history. But at the time, probably no one. But we were, and I don't even want to go back to this because it was such a dark time, but as much as Jim Harbaugh resurrected the program from the Hoke and Rich Rod days and made them consistently like a 10-win team, they were still Ohio State's whipping boy up until 2021. And that's another thing. At Michigan, that's not supposed to happen. But credit to Jim Harbaugh. He is now the undisputed greatest football figure in the history of Michigan football and the greatest coach, too, in my opinion.
Rich Baldwin, I remember when Temple coach John Chaney went after Calipari when he was at UMass during a press conference. He got UMass to the Final Four, by the way.
Shout out Marcus Camby.
Yeah. Lou Rowe, Marcus Camby. Yep. But I guess that's the moral of my story. Like, do we cook coaches too fast?
How long is That's tough. Because I don't think John Calipari should be fired. I just think that.
And I didn't think Harbaugh should have been fired.
I think Harbaugh, there would have been a little bit more justification. But then again, I'm glad he wasn't. I am super glad that he wasn't. At least Calipari got them a national championship. And, God, that 2015 team, the team that lost to Wisconsin in the Final Four, that absolutely, shattered my heart in two. Those rats from Wisconsin ruining that Kentucky team that I love so much. But that was another one where it's like you had the most talent. You had Karl-Anthony Towns. You had Willie Cauley-Stein. You had Devin Booker. And you should have won it all, but you didn't. It's Kentucky.
Mike G, Sharon better show us.
Hey.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I know. I think he gets a little bit of a grace period, as long as they're.
How long?
Well, it depends on how good they are this year. I think Michigan fans would be okay with
8-4.
I was gonna go 9-3 as the worst he could be, but with this defense, with even some of the offensive players coming back, I think that's got to be the minimum. I still think they're a team that could, with the expanded playoff, get in. And maybe even surprise some people. Most of their tough games are at home this year. Their only real, gauntlet game on the road is at Ohio State. And I guess if you want to count Washington, but Washington lost all their best players and their coach.
Chuck Brewer says, name the team in front of Kentucky, though. Jim had to grow up against OSU early on. Well, I would say UConn's an impediment to everybody.
Yeah.
In terms of the college basketball world.
Yeah, I mentioned that at the beginning, and I know I'm repeating myself, but Kansas has won more natties in the past. However, they've won 2. North Carolina's won a couple. UConn's won 5 since 1999, and Duke,
So I guess here's what I'm asking, Flannel. Are Michigan State fans all right with Izzo then? Let's land the plane.
I think that's
what I'm driving at. Because who you going to get that's better? Who are you going to get? Because you're telling me Calipari. Well, Calipari couldn't do it. Think about what you're saying.
No, I understand, but this was probably the most disappointing season in Michigan, at least under the Izzo era, with all that they had coming back with the recruiting class. To be 500 in conference play, that's beyond unacceptable. I'm not saying Tom Izzo should be fired, but this is his 4th consecutive season of double-digit losses, which is another thing that at Michigan State, that's not the standard by them. So I think it's fair-ish to assume that he's a little bit past his prime. It's happened to the best of them. Roy Williams isn't even there anymore. Mike Krzyzewski isn't even there anymore. I get it that Tom Izzo's not even on their level in different stages of careers, but it just seems to be coming for all of the all-time greats. Jim Boeheim.
Brandon Katz, Calipari got caught cheating multiple times. He destroyed the Memphis program. Did he? Or did he take them to the highest heights that they've ever had that they've been unable to replicate since he left there? And by the way, Memphis kept their banner, their Final Four banner. It's in the practice facility. I've seen it. We played there maybe about 10 years ago, and we practiced in their practice facility, and I loved it. I took a picture of it. I don't know if I still have it or not, but I thought that was an OG move. You guys are going to do the same thing with football when it all shakes out.
We'll see.
Keep the banner, man. Absolutely. Keep the banner. I'll keep going to Planet Fitness. 100%. That's right. Because there's over 50 Planet Fitness locations in the Metro Detroit area. It's the best gym in the gym game. And guess what, everybody? $1 down, $10 a month. That'll get you access to your home Planet Fitness. You want to go to all of them? Over 2,500 of them worldwide. Planet Fitness Black Card. $1 down, $24.99 a month. That's it. That's all. And you're a member of the best gym in the gym game. Unlimited use of all the amenities, the tanning beds, the hydro massage. You want to best, you can do that too. You basically own Planet Fitness. Go to planetfitness.com, join there, or pull in the parking lot. You can join at any Planet Fitness location. Go to planetfitness.com because your fitness is essential.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Buying your first Feldman Chevrolet is much more than buying the car that will get you from point A to point B. It's a place for first memories, some big, some small. As she grows, you're not just buying her a Chevy, you're buying into a Feldman family. With more than 700,000 vehicles sold, from generation to generation, Feldman just keeps rolling.
Every year, after a cold and dreary winter, Metro Detroiters come together for two things: Tigers baseball and the best damned party in the world. A new season of Tigers baseball is here, and we're bringing in the new season as only Woodward Sports knows how. Broadcasting live from the biggest party. It's the Grand Slam Festival at the Detroit Opera House. Come party with 4,000 Detroit sports fans, starting with Wake Up Woodward and rolling into Big D Energy. This is a party you don't want to miss, with Detroit's best DJs, food trucks, and of course, shots. Get your tickets now at GrandSlamFest.com. 21 plus. See you April 5th at the Grand Slam Fest.
What's better than crispy chicken and pizza while watching your favorite team play? Let me tell you about Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza. Their food is amazing and their locations are popping up all over Metro Detroit. A perfect takeout option featuring hand-breaded fried chicken, New York pizza, fresh salads, sides, and more. Check out their full menu and find the closest Soroki's near you at Sorokis.com. That's SAROKIS.com. Soroki's in Woodward Sports, that's crispy.
All right, we're coming down the stretch here, Big D Energy, live from Feldman Chevrolet, and the pick is in. Feldman Chevrolet is the #1 Michigan Chevrolet dealer in the state. It's official. Neal, Ruhl, Sam Flannel in for DMAC. KG Sticks roaming around here as well. They're on the ones and twos, mixing and scratching. Kat says Memphis was garbage for almost 15 years because of Calipari's action. Well, that's funny, Katz, because I remember being at the Palace and talking to Josh Pastner after they beat St. Mary's in the tournament. You know, getting tournament wins. No, the second best St. Mary's, not Orchard Lake St. Mary's. The pick is in. Orchard Lake St. Mary's, the dynasty. So that's not true, Cat Spot. Josh Pastner was winning games in the tournament with Memphis. I was there. I talked to him. So it happened.
They should have won that national championship, though. That was another one that just, broke my young flannel heart because I wanted Memphis so bad over Kansas. Damn Mario Chalmers. Memphis not being able to make any free throws at the end. But anywho, I'm not bitter.
Dayjuice says, please don't play the draft noise. I will have to change my underwear.
Hey.
Boy, people are hyped.
Hey.
Don't threaten stick with a party, man.
Right.
Because he'll be right in here bringing it down. Since he brought it up, NFL draft.
Yes.
Would the people be cool if Holmes traded the pick?
No.
I know they would. They wouldn't. I know. Hey, can we chat that real quick? Chat, pull that one.
Yeah.
For real.
Absolutely.
For real. Would you be cool if Brad Holmes traded out of the first round? I want to know what the people think for real. Would you be cool with it, KG? You'd be a little you'd be disappointed?
Nah, not at all. Especially considering the moves in free agency. Yeah, I'm with it.
Okay.
I trust my GM.
So the street cred, you buy the street cred.
Oh, yeah. All day. Who cares? It's a presentation. I care about team success. I don't care about a presentation in April. So.
What about you, Flannel? Would you be a little disappointed?
Because it's Brad Holmes, I would say no. And I get that the pageantry of it all, it does, I think it matters to some, and it would be pretty damn cool to see a first-round draft pick in the city of Detroit. But, hey, to hear that chime and see the number 29 overall pick, the Lions select, that would be really cool. And that's not lost on me. But with what Brad Holmes has done for his first 3 drafts, you can't really question him at this point. I mean, you saw the results. Was going to a playoff game, 2 playoff games at home, pretty cool. That's a lot more cool than watching your a home like a draft pick in the first round in your home city. More playoff wins, more playoff games at Ford Field is much better.
Nick Lucido, trade it to my Giants, LOL. Nick Lucido will take it. Those Giants will take it. But, yeah, I'm curious to see what the people say on that. Would you be mad if Brad Holmes traded number 29 in the first round of the draft and traded out of the first round? Will we feel like let down? And I'm curious to see what the people think. I want to see if they'll be honest, because right away, 82 no, 17% yes. I think more than that would be. I think it's easy to say right now, but I think when you got down there and you got 11 beers in and it's 10:45 and Spenmo's about 3 bottles in.
Yeah.
I think at that moment when it happens, Danny G, stop. My pants can't take any more of the strain. I think it's easy to say now.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie to you. I wouldn't be disappointed in the football reasons. I would be disappointed for the event reasons. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
he's got.
We all want to see a first-round pick.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's about what you're doing to better the team. So if that results in him trading back and getting more picks and more value, then so be it. You know,
Mike G's honest. If we traded the pick, I'd be pissed.
So
thank you for your honesty.
So basically, what it all boils down to is we can all look at it logically, and we can all say, in Holmes we trust, particularly with the drafting, and whatever he does, fine. What he's built, the results speak for themselves. But when you're there on the day, when you're hearing that draft chime over and over and over and over again, and watching players come up and watching fans of opposing teams celebrate and get excited, that's when we're kind of going to be like, I want some of that.
Yeah. Hey, I would advise you go to day 2.
The pick is in, I'm told, by Stick. With the 29th pick, the Detroit Lions select Kwame Kilpatrick.
Old favorite.
Who will then trade his rights to the Pittsburgh Steelers for an undisclosed amount of Krugerrand, right? Is it? Remember that bit, Stick? I know you do. Yeah.
Trade for Kwame is crazy.
He did play college football, though, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. He played college football. Elgato says, I don't care who we draft as long as we get a tall wide receiver.
Hey.
Is that in the a cousin to the left-handed first baseman?
There's some good ones available. I mean, I'm sure we'll get into that as more as the draft comes along, but I don't necessarily hate that sentiment from Elgato.
Yes. Mike G. Kwame knows where the bags are.
He does.
He absolutely does. There's no doubt about it that he does. And you know where the best haircuts are.
Absolutely. It's that Lady Jane's. I should probably go get one soon so people in the chat can stop nagging me. No, I'm kidding. But walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot leather, neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge with more than 20 Metro Detroit locations. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists. Enjoy a precision haircut, hot lather neck shave, scalp and neck massage, and a hot towel treatment to top it off. Enter for your chance to win the $50,000 Perfect Bracket Challenge. With more than 25 Metro Detroit locations, there's always a Lady Jane's near you. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Buying your first Feldman Chevrolet is much more than buying the car that will get you from point A to point B. It's a place for first memories, some big, some small. As she grows, you're not just buying her a Chevy, you're buying into a Feldman family. With more than 700,000 vehicles sold, from generation to generation, Feldman just keeps rolling.
The most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Neal Ruhl here for the Woodward Sports Network. And don't forget that Woodward Sports has a new morning show. That's right, it is Wake Up Woodward. You know the players and you know the game. That is right, KG's in the mix. Sam Flannel is in there. Our guy Kool-Aid. They're all there every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Keeping it pushing here. Big D Energy live from Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Nick L. also says Campy greater than Kwame. I think that's pretty universal.
Yeah.
We don't have to run a show poll on that.
No, we don't.
Greg Campy's got more fans than Kwame does, I'm sure.
Facts.
But, yeah, just coming down the stretch here of the show. And I know that we said we were going to get into it, but we didn't really get a chance. But the Red Wings.
Sheesh.
That brutal road trip that we talked about is not off to a good start.
At least they got a 1 win out of it, but, yeah, it's not looking good.
No, but they're 1-8 in their last 9. They're in the midst of a collapse, and I think that's what the hardest part is. They were basically firmly in. Their defense has been awful in the last 9 games. Their offense has disappeared.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, and
that's the thing that's been most disappointing to me.
Well, that's the thing, because when Dylan Larkin goes out, one of the staples of this team, and I say this in quotation marks because when they needed it, it hasn't really showed up, is the depth. That's why you got Comfer. That's why you got Sprong. That's why you got DeBrincat.
Well, look, cut the ish. Like, that's what we celebrated, and that's what we talked about. And when Larkin went down, that's why almost universally to a person that's affiliated with Woodward Sports said, keep it pushing, man.
Yeah.
There's scoring depth. There hasn't been.
Nope.
And that's a bottom line. The rest of the team has not been good enough. And I know everyone's going to talk about what they've done defensively. You cannot win games when you score 7 goals in 6 games.
No,
Can't.
What is it, like 19 in their last 9, which would make them, over that stretch, worst offense in the league type of offense and worst defense in the league type defense. That's about as bad as it can certainly go. I mean, I suppose if they win their next 2, they're still, oddly enough, they're still in that playoff spot. If they win their next 2 prior to that 5-game road trip, I'll feel a little bit better, but that's the thing. Players need to step up that haven't stepped up, including your guy, Alex DeBrincat. He's kind of, and for the record, he was a big reason why they had gotten to the heights that they did when they did. But over these last 9 games, he's pretty much been silent as a mouse. Christian Fisher has more goals in the last 9 games than Alex DeBrincat. Can't happen.
Unacceptable.
Can't happen.
No, and look, I'm a big DeBrincat guy. I helped get him here, so no one believes in him more than I do.
Yeah.
But it's not good. But you know who'd be the first one to tell you that, I bet?
He would.
Alex DeBrincat would be the first one to say, I got to be better. And he does.
Well, that's where he's got to step up because there's still time. They haven't blown their season completely, at least when it comes to making the playoffs. They could still do it. It's just you're going to need more from Alex DeBrincat. And I know that Larkin is going to come back, and that's going to help them too. But I need more from Alex DeBrincat. Go on a good streak because he's always been kind of a streaky player. Have a 6 or 7 game stretch where you get 9 points, 4 or 5 goals. The team needs him right now. They needed him in these past 9 games, and he hasn't delivered. But there's still time to right some wrongs. And like I said before, not gonna crap on him too much because he was a big reason why they were in the winning position to begin with. But he's got to be better. In a time where their depth needed to show up, and even their other stars needed to show up, they just haven't delivered to the degree that you think they would.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Neal, you have to tell me the return before I be upset about the trade. The return's immaterial to the discussion. I'm talking about the idea of them not picking in the first round. Like all this hype for 3 years and all this build-up and Hart Plaza this and CompuWare building that and all that. Where's everybody going to stay this and where's everyone going to park that?
Go to day 2.
It's come down to this, everybody.
Or day 3.
Hey.
Day 3 will be great.
And the future of Ryan Ermanni at Woodward Sports apparently is on the line.
Is on the line.
Yeah, seriously.
If you want Ermanni and Edwards as Maz as currently constructed, root for them to not trade the pick.
That is true. Ryan Ermanni
put his
did
word
promise.
out there.
Yep.
Must be Edwards with Maz.
He said if they don't pick in the first round, he would leave media altogether. What'd he say?
He said he would quit this job.
Okay.
But it wasn't in a tone that was like picking up my toys and leaving. It was in like I cannot imagine
a world where they don't pick.
Yes.
Gotcha.
It was in that tone, yeah.
We have announced a trade.
Right. Just the collective groan in the audience. I can hear it now.
WoodwardSports.com chat poll. Would you be mad if Brad Holmes traded pick number 29 in the first round of the draft and did not pick? No, 78%. Yes, 22%. So
some of those 22 are lying.
Hey, if it were anyone but Brad Holmes, I think we would all be disappointed.
No, absolutely. So, all right. Well, that about does it for today. The show cooked, as they always do on a Monday. Yes, Sam Flannel, it was exactly because of you. No, we are not talking. We are not talking NASCAR today, tomorrow, or any other day.
Thank you.
At all. We're not. We're not. We're not talking NASCAR. Well, look at that. The time. We got to go, everybody.
Right.
For Sam Flannel, for KG, for Stick. My name's Neal Ruhl. Thanks for tapping in. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, live from Feldman Chevrolet in Novi. Thanks for watching. Well, see you later.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.